so that we can make it work and we can continue to have the kind of standard of living that we need to have?
Sounds like we need more babies if everyone's going to have to get to work. No, look, I think that some Western countries definitely have problems. I mean, Canada, I think, is one of the exceptions to the rule at the moment. And actually, I don't want anyone to stop their work on global warming, but I think Canada will be one of the few countries which actually will benefit from global warming in a selfish way by creating more land in the north, finding more oil, finding more minerals. And so I think Canada is very well set up, I think, going forward over the next sort of 50, 100 years. I think you seem to have a more liberal policy of letting people into your country. You've got a massive country. I mean, that's really helps your country. It's lovely to, I think, I suspect not everybody in this room agrees, but one of the richness of Britain is the Asian restaurants, the Chinese restaurants, and Canada, the French restaurants. Canada has that same wonderful mix of people, and you have the land and the space to do that, and that also will help keep your economy growing. Most of the money, having said all that, most of the money that we've raised from here today is actually going to go into setting up an organisation to tackle the youth homeless problem in Canada.
Hi, Sir Richard. My question is more for you to direct the answer to our government officials here today. I'm a big belief what Mr. O'Leary said, that without business, nothing happens in society. It really is the foundation for everything. It looks at mothers, I'll put mothers above business. But our government has just been elected. They're in their first weeks, days of their mandate, and if you were going to give them advice on how they should approach entrepreneurism, because I fundamentally think there's a disjointed connection between government and entrepreneurism in our province. What's the recommendations you would give to them to do in the first 3 months? The Premier's right on the first row, sir.
Oh dear, will I be so bold as to make suggestions? Well, first of all, I do think that being a businessman or being an entrepreneur, if you switch the clock back 30 or 40 years, was somewhat of a dirty word. It was, it wasn't the sort of respectable thing for people to go in to become. I think entrepreneurism has become 100% acceptable now. I think governments realise that entrepreneurs are the people that are creating the jobs. The big businesses, generally speaking, don't grow that much more, and it's all the hundreds of little businesses that set up that create the jobs. So I think government just needs to make to make sure that these small businesses have every chance of setting up. A lot of them will fail, and I think that as an entrepreneur, you have to accept that your chances of failure are great, and you shouldn't be frightened of failure. I mean, you'll learn from trying and failing. And just pick yourself up and try again. But I think that if there's one thing that governments maybe could do, I suspect is maybe underwrite some of the loans, some of the risk capital that the banks lend to entrepreneurs. Maybe take a percentage of that. I'm talking about very small amounts of money can set up big corporations. I mean, I started with maybe $500,000, $1,000. We've now got a big corporation. So if you $10,000, $20,000 loans can create big corporations out of them. So maybe small loans from the government or small backing to the banks. Maybe you two can get together. stresses of the job, you know.
One more question, time for one more?
Sir Richard Branson, I was curious, you mentioned that when you put a business in place, you need to find that management team. You gotta surround yourself with those people. What type of values do you look for in people to run your business?
It's a very good question, and I think, you know, if a business is, as I say, just a group of people, then, you know, what you've got to find as a leader of those people is somebody who loves people, really cares about people, is a great motivator of people, somebody who's really good at praising people, somebody who very rarely criticizes people, you know, someone who's always looking for the best in people, and so that's the kind of, you know, that's the kind of people we try to get to run our companies. If you put the wrong person in to run a company, you can completely destroy a company, and a lot stems from the top and ricochets down. We want to look for managers, you know, because they care about people who, you know, who want to promote from within the company. They don't want to always bring in the sort of so-called experts from outside. You know, I think, I mean, here in Canada, the woman that runs Virgin Unite, our foundation, used to be the switchboard operator at Virgin Mobile, and so she's moved up to, you know, running quite a big organisation for us. So it's just got to be somebody that you know, that cares as much about the switchboard operators and the cleaning ladies as about their fellow directors, and you know, that's the kind of person.
I own a training company. I get to work with a lot of amazing people and great mentors and people. I'm wondering, who is your greatest mentor? Who's coached you through being so successful? And why are they the most important person? And can I have their phone number?
Well, I mean, I've been very fortunate to meet some incredible people. I think I'll name two people, and I'm afraid it's not actually really a business thing, although you could draw some business parallels from it. But Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, I mean, you know, Nelson Mandela, 28 years in a prison, you know, comes out of prison, you know, becomes president of South Africa. Rather than prosecuting and executing, you know, people who did some pretty horrendous atrocities to the black person in South Africa, he appoints Archbishop Desmond Tutu to preside over the Truth and Reconciliation Courts. And the Truth and Reconciliation Courts were set up that people who'd done these atrocities would come and apologize to the people they'd done those atrocities to, or if those people weren't still alive, to apologize to their relatives. And over a 3-year period, there was a wonderful cleansing and forgiveness that went on, which has completely unified South Africa. And now white people and black people, you know, are as one. And I just think, you know, maybe just one thing for all of us in this room to think about is, you know, if I don't think we should, any of us should keep any enemies in life. Life's too short. And I think that, you know, if anybody in this room has fallen out with somebody, maybe an ex, or you know, or a business deal or something, you know, just ring them up this evening. You know, have them out to lunch. They might find it quite surprising to suddenly hear this call, but you know, and befriend them. You know, and even if you feel it was their fault, you know, sort of. I mean, I suddenly had this idea, and I rang up the chairman of British Airways just after we had a big court case together, and invited him out to lunch. And I think, anyway, he came, and I think he was wondering what on earth was happening. And we had a very pleasant lunch. We became good friends, and you know, we'll still compete, you know, madly in business, but you know, but it was great. We became friends, and so anyway, I would say Archbishop Tutu and Nelson Mandela, a fantastic example to the world. And thank you very much.